Okay. Hello, everybody. It told me it was low internet connection, which I highly doubt that it is because my Wi-Fi is right there. So, today we will be discussing something that I was thinking over the weekend. I was going through the workbook, something I'm learning. So I'm just gonna go and.
Play a game.
No, sweetie. No, sweetie, you're not playing a game, okay? Not right now. Not right now. Okay, Bahidi. Okay.
But
So,
you said until you do your video.
Ethan, can I please have a couple of minutes? I just asked you.
Okay, I'm gonna go play one of my games.
Okay, this is like the second video in a row that the moment I tell them I'm going outside to go do a video really quickly, they all have to
I'm gonna play
come
my
here.
Slime Mantle.
You're not playing anything. No, you're watching what I put for you. That's it.
It's
Okay.
done.
Okay. No, it's not done. It's very long. So, anyways, back to reality. Okay. Or back to the show. So,
No,
as I
it's
was.
done.
Breathe. Okay. So this is actually perfect. These things that are coming up with the children, because this is kind of a little bit of a different topic, but patience, right? This is one of the things that these children teach us a lot of, and that is patience, because we're just trying to do something, we're just trying to get something done, we're trying to get to a place, point A, from point A to point B, and you get pulled in every direction, and it's hard and it's tough juggling all these things, but at the end of the day, you gotta come from a place of love and not snapping on the children, right? Because it's not their fault. They're more lost than we are, okay? Because none of us know what we're doing and have a clear picture of exactly what's going on and where we're going, all of these things. We have an idea, but at the end of the day, plans don't always work out, right? And we all know this. So this is just how life is, and it's awesome that way. So over the weekend, as I was working through my workbook, one of the things that kind of came to mind for me was going back in time, where you feel like you start to lose who you are in a way, right? And the thoughts that started coming through that, right? It was just I was writing in the journal, right? And it just starts writing. And as I was writing through it, I realized that, honestly, one of the biggest things that happens in so many of our lives is getting married, right? Getting married. And why is it such a big deal to so many people, and why so many people are struggling to keep their marriage going, right? And themselves, and why so many actually start to lose themselves and who they are and what they're all about as they get married. So whether you thought of this or not, and you're more than welcome to chime in at any time and drop down below what your thoughts are, and maybe you want to add or say something about that I've mentioned. So think of it this way. No matter how old you are when you get married, the person that you get married to, whether you've been with them for a month or for a couple of months or for a couple of years or many years, right? You still don't know them as long as you have known your parents, okay? And also, before you get married, how many years were you on your own? How many years were you answering to yourself and nobody else, really, right? Especially if your parents allowed you to be you and allowed you to run rampant, if that's what you wanted to do, and you got to know yourself fairly well, right? And then all of a sudden you get married, and then there's this stranger, if you will, that now you have to share your life with. And not only your life, you got to start sharing what is going up in here, right? Your dreams, your hopes, certain things that you might want in life right? You gotta share it all, right? You gotta answer to someone in a way, and that is where it becomes difficult, right? This is where a lot of people start to clash, because we're different, right? We all are made different. We're very much alike, and yet we are very different from each other. And this is where it's difficult when we start to have different opinions, different views. And one of the biggest things that happens is, so as a human being, okay, as an empath, as a human being, when you see something, when you're talking to a human, okay, to somebody else, what happens is you see a reflection of yourself in them, right? They are your mirror, and all they do is they hold it in front of you. So whatever you see in them is actually what you see in yourself, whether you like it or you don't, is just what you see in yourself. So this is where it becomes really difficult, where you see something that your spouse does that angers you and upsets you, because for the most part it is most likely something that you don't like in yourself, or maybe something that you want to do and they get to do it and you don't, right? So that could be one of the reasons why you... Oh, this dog is chewing something, and then this kitty cat is right here. She's so cute. You're so cute. Sorry. Anyways, so you're no longer alone. You're no longer a single person. Now you gotta answer to a stranger. You gotta live with a stranger. You gotta make it work, right? And marriage is a serious business, right? I don't believe in giving up, and I also don't believe that if you are going into this keeping in mind that that you have an out, right? That you can divorce, that you can separate, that you can that there's an exit, right? And keeping that in mind as you get married, that basically means that you're not 100% committed, right? Because when you are 100% committed, you're not going to be questioning it. You're going to be going in this marriage, and you're going to be giving it all you got. You're going to be giving it your 100%, knowing that you're going to do everything that it needs, everything that it takes in order for this to blossom. Okay, so what else do I have in here? And you truly don't know each other, right? And this is where it is extremely important. This is where now I'll mention a few things that should be part of marriage, and you should be worked out every single day. Okay, so this is where it is extremely important to give yourself and each other time. Okay, and this is the reason why most marriages, they fail within the first 5 years, because it takes time, right? And a lot of people give up before that time passes, but it takes time to build a relationship. It takes time to get to know someone, right? To get to know them and for all that they are in every aspect, right? Some people are fortunate enough to get to be with someone who is very open, and they get to know that person very quickly, whereas the rest of people might not be, right? So it's very important to give each other time. Okay, the second thing I have on here is unconditional love, right? And that means part of that is you gotta drop the expectations. You cannot go into this contract. Marriage is a contract, right? You cannot go into this contract having expectations that you don't even know if that person can meet, right? And these are your expectations, and no, it's not fair for you to put your expectations on someone else. So you gotta drop all of that. You just gotta let them be, and go flow as you go, or go as you flow. Yeah. Anyways, so an unconditional love means unconditional, right? Stop putting conditions on yourself and on your partner. Then third on here I have is trust. You gotta trust each other, and if you don't have trust, then there should not be any wedding bells. It's that simple, because trust is something that we all human beings need, and we truly feel lost if no one trusts us and no one trusts in us, right? I'm sure you know how that would feel, or can imagine how that would feel. Number 4 is support. You gotta support each other in your own personal journeys. Even though you are together, you are on your own individual journey. They are on their own individual journey, and it is your job to help and support each other in every way you possibly can. Obviously, it has to be reasonable, and for most of it is common sense, right? But you gotta support each other. Number 5 I have on here is equality. Okay, so you gotta treat each other as equals, because you are not better than them and they are not better than you. You guys are equals, you guys are partners, and that is how it's supposed to be, right? Both live a reasonably free life, right? When I say reasonably, I mean like you don't go out and start looking for something else somewhere else, right? There's no side business type of thing. Just what you have, and that's it. Mind you, your relationship is yours. You make it work however it works for you, because in this day and age, there's so many different types of marriages that would have never been allowed to exist back in the day. And now honestly, I'm very happy to hear and see that people get to live the way they want to. Mind you, there's always going to be people that will not agree, and then there's always going to be people that will agree and love and appreciate and just look up to you and say, wow, like I wish I could, I can live the way you do and live free without worry, right? And then the last thing I have on here is basically a question for you, right? So if you were living with your best friend, with your BFF, okay, how would you treat your BFF, right? How would you talk to your BFF? Would you have expectations of your BFF? Right? And the point of this question, so how would you live with your best friend? Because at the end of the day, if you did not marry your best friend, it might be a little bit hard, right? But you can always make a best friend out of your partner, because at the end of the day, that is how it should be. Your partner should be your better half, if you will, because they know you, they understand you, they know how to push your buttons, and they also know how to help you through your hard times, right? And they know how to celebrate with you through the good times. And that's what marriage is. Marriage is a partnership where both parties give 100%. And the saying where 50-50, right, makes the marriage work, it doesn't, because 50-50 is it's a business transaction. A marriage is not a business, right? And if you give your 100% and they give their 100%, you have what I call a healthy marriage, because when both parties give all they can, nothing is left out, right? And if you're living with your partner as you would with your best friend, then this is where you will truly get to feel and experience what unconditional love and acceptance and understanding is, and the support and all of these things come into play. So at the end of the day, these are all based on my experience and on my my knowledge and everything I have learned on my short I can't even speak properly, my short or long journey, however you want to look at it, and it works for me, right? It works for me, and it works for so many other people, so I can pretty much guarantee it will work for you. You cannot control anyone. You can't. I mean, let's be honest. You can barely even control yourself, right? You can barely even control your thoughts and sometimes your reactions and your actions. So you can't expect to control anyone else. And at the end of the day, that is another thing that will surely help you fail at whatever it is that you're trying to do, whether it be marriage or life or business. If you try to control it, it's gonna break, right? Because you're gonna be putting too much force, too much pressure in it, and it's going to snap. Like the kids, you can't control your kids. You can try as much as you want, but you can't control them, right? They're anti-rule, they're wild. And that's how they're supposed to be, right? We're all that way. And you know how you feel when somebody is trying to control you and trying to control your choices, your decisions, and your actions and your behavior, or anything that they're trying to control in you. So if you don't like that being done to you, do not do it unto others. It's a golden rule, right? And it just depends on how you hear it and how you live it at any given point of your life. So anyways, that is all for today that I have for you guys. Just a little bit of rambling. Hopefully this was helpful, and I'd love to hear if there was something that you heard in here that struck a nerve or resonated with you, and maybe even answered a question that you might have had running through your mind. And most of all, if you know someone who would benefit from this information, I would love for you to pass it on to them, whether you tag them down below or share it, however you want to spread, help me spread this message. I would truly appreciate it. So anyways, that is all for today, guys. Until next time, bye, and thank you for watching once again. Bye, guys.